So this is the printer sx130, which came in the other day for repair. And what we get when we start print is this. So basically 99% probably the head needs to be replaced. So how you're gonna do that, we will gonna show you now. And maybe check the Ciss system, since it's a printer that, as you can see, has a bit of a mileage on it. So you probably could change the print head if you just lift the scanner and lift this cover up, and you can see that there is some space for lifting or dismantling or replacing, however you want to call it, the head. But actually we're not gonna, since it has this system installed or also on the carrier, we will be removing the complete plastic part, this plastic part, however you want to call it. We will be removing that to get complete access to the head and everything else inside, to check everything else. So how that is done, not quite simple when you disassemble it the first time, because it's quite an unpractical printer to be disassembled. But you have a couple of screws, some of them hidden, so that's why we want to show you how you do that, so you can do the repairs yourself. So basically you have two screws on this side, on the upper side, and you have two more screws hidden. You have to pick up this keyboard, lift it up, pull it out, and you have a cable that needs to be disconnected. This is where the third screw is hidden inside the box, so you have to unscrew that. And one screw that's even more harder to notice is on the front side, and you also have this cover mounted in front of it. So we've pulled that out so we can unscrew it. It comes over here, so you have to unscrew that too. And now you're good for lifting the upper cover. You just pick it up, lift it, and you have to be careful not to damage the cables for the scanner. You can either disconnect the cable, so move it completely off, or you can leave it like this. But you have to be careful not to pinch anything or to tear apart something or damage the cables. So as you can see, this system is mounted over here, so it's much easier to have the complete access to the head than through the hole, than try to replace the head through the hole. So this is what needs to be also disconnected before that. It's a zip tie that holds the pipes for the Ciss inside, and it also has to be mounted like this, because if there's a quite narrow space for pipe to be folding inside, so it has to be mounted like this, and then you have to have the complete access, so you can remove those things off when you wanna, if you wanna get to the head inside. So you have one plastic part over here that's covering the cable connector, so this has to be pushed from the outside to get it out. No, it has to be it has this hook from the inside. It has to be pushed to the back, so I push back the hook and push it to the left. Push it to the left and unhook it on this upper side, and then you get this piece out. So it's not quite that easy, but that's the reason why we are showing you all this. And now you have to disconnect the contacts for the cartridges or the Ciss. They are plugged in sideways, so if you don't unplug that cable, the contacts won't come out. Now it's like this. We have some ink on it, so if you run into something like that, be sure to clean it. And the last part is the cable that is goes through the head carrier, through the hole on the head carrier, and it's plugged into the head. So also, like most printers or most Epson printers, you have 3 screws on the head. So be careful not to lose any of them, because they are meant for this special thread. They are not ordinary screws. They got special thread density, so try not to lose any of them. You have to have some pliers to pick the head up a bit, and now pull this through and unplug this. That's about it. So when you wanna put in another head, we will now make the check here to see if the head is if the ink, or in our case the alcohol, is going through the head. So if it's not unclogged, it will be just fine. So we will now do that check. And basically, when you wanna put inside new head, the process is same but the reverse. You have to plug in the cable, put the head back in the place, put the screws back, but you have to be careful about not damaging the threads on the carrier. You have to spin the screwdriver on the left, and when you hear the click, the screw went in the thread, then you go left. You don't right, sorry. You don't go right away to the right, screwing to the right, because then you'll damage the thread, and you can only do that couple of times, and then when you damage the thread and the screws are not holding the head inside, the head might clap, and you might have a foggy or misty print, so you don't want that. So be careful about that. And also you put in the contacts for the Ciss or cartridges, plug in the cable, and the same way you put back this plastic part and the cover, and then you're good. You have to make a couple of head cleans to fill up the head with ink, the new head with ink, and then try a few prints and you'll be good. So we wanted to show you, this might be interesting, so how it looks when part of the channel is not working. So I don't know if we're gonna be able to show you that, but as you can see, the line here is quite interrupted. So when you have like 120 nozzles on one channel, this wouldn't be very much of a problem. But when you have a head such as this with 46 nozzles per one channel, you might be having some holes in your prints, so this is not quite the good head. That would mean that probably why this middle part in the stream went clogged is because there's probably not much or any ink at all in the cartridges. So probably the owner of the printer, yeah, as you can see, there's very little ink, something on the bottom over here on this cartridge. So probably this main chamber that covers the torn of the head, this goes up like this, probably dried out, so that's the reason why you don't have the full stream on the head. And to prevent that, you have to push the air from time to time. Let's say couple of months, you have to push the air out of the cartridge so you don't dry the head, or the channel is left without any ink coverage from the top side, from the upper side. So how you do that? You have to make the flow of air possible. To get air must get inside the outside tank, and you lift the outside tank up. So now you can probably see now the cartridge is slowly filling up. So that's what you have to do from time to time. You simply have to open the cork on the cartridge and check it out from the inside. You can use a lamp to shed some light from what's going on inside the cartridge. But the less air you have in cartridge, the better. So we will now fill that up, and when the ink level reaches the top of the cartridges, which can be seen if you look at from the upper side, you just put down the outside tank and put the cork back inside. So that's what we are going to do. It will take some time. It's not a few seconds, so we won't be bothering you with that, but that's also something that you have to do with all the other cartridges. So we got the air pushed out of the cartridges. So these three cartridges seem to be pretty good because the ink is they're filling up pretty fast, but this cyan cartridge fills very slowly. So probably this, if you could possibly see it, there's a filter on the rear side of the cartridges. I don't know if you can see it on the cam, but if the cartridges are left without any drop of ink, like such as in this case here, those filters tend to clog also. So they're probably at least half of the filter is clogged, so that's what makes the ink flow to the cartridge very slow. So this cartridge will have to be replaced. So how you do that? You have a couple of hooks on the upper side, so you disconnect that and put inside the new cartridge, and also fill it up with the ink the same way. So that's what we are gonna do later, but now we will try to put the head back inside and test it out, test one more print. So probably we will be having some other rings other than this black, which is also pretty weak here in the print, because in all the cartridges there practically there was no ink at all. So let's try to reassemble everything back, and you can see also how it is done. So you pull this cable through the hole, connect it back to the head. It's pretty simple because there's only one cable. There are no 2 or 3 cables hanging like on some other bigger printers. We'll screw back the screws. So as we said, you have to spin it left until it falls into thread, and you then spin it right. You don't have to tight it up right away. You will do that later. It's good to have a magnetized screwdriver left. It didn't fall into thread right away. Something is all right. Maybe I got these others too tight early. All right. Tighten up the other two, and that's good. And put back the contacts. Plug the cable from the side. It's a bit tricky because there's not very much space, but doable. And now you see that this cable from the head has to go inside. And then inside the place that holds the cable, we got one cable outside. We have to correct that a bit. Quite a little space for doing that. So this has to go inside like this small cable, and then the rest go inside like this. Now it's correct. And we also have this cover to be put inside. It's a bit tricky because you have to align everything. You have to align a couple of things actually. Not that simple, but doable, as you can see. All right, so now we're gonna put the filled Ciss cartridges inside, and we also have to place the cable like this. If it moves properly, we will not have any problems. So you do check it like this, and now we will do a couple of head cleanings and try to print something out. So you already know how you're doing head cleans. You can either press the button for the red button on the printer, but maybe in this case, if you're doing some repairs, maybe it's better to do it from the software. So you can do it also, but this is a quicker way, is to just hold down the red button until printer starts doing something, so it goes into head cleaning. That's a shorter way. So we're gonna do that, and after that we're gonna try to print something to see what's going on. And so this is what we get now as a print. So as you can see, quite a bit of a difference from this previous prints. And now when the head is cleaned and the cartridges filled up, so but also what we've noticed that there's a crack in the line of cyan channel when we try to clean the head up. So we might be if we use a magnifier like this, we might be able to see that there are some small white lines in the cyan test. But since this is a sublimation, this printer is used as sublimation printer for sublimation printing process, so that's not that big of a deal as if you use it with ordinary ink. But there are some things that you could do to slow the print down. So even with the head that is missing a couple of nozzles, or in this case maybe even 40%, what you have to do is to slow the printing down as much as possible. And how do you do that? You go to the driver, you select best photo, and you can take this photo enhance option. I don't know how sharp is it when you look at it on the screen, and be sure to check this maintenance tab if the high speed is on or off. It has to be off, so you can make the printer print as slower as possible if you have some cracks in the line or nozzles missing. So you would still be able to print, but slower, but you don't have to replace the head. Or you can simply replace the head, but as you can see, this is still pretty good print regardless some of the nozzles missing. And this is our second print. As you can see, something is already visible on the paper, but what I wanted to mention with this particular model, if you only lift the cover to put the paper in like this, so as you can see, the paper is hanging a bit, there'll be problem with taking the paper in on this particular model. So what you have to do is to pull this cover also up and bit to the back, so the paper would be standing straight. It won't be hanging back or hanging forward. So this is how this printer will be able to pick the paper up with the paper roll and insert it inside. So if it stands in any other way, you will be having problems with taking the paper in. Also be sure to put several sheets of paper, because in this case the printer has to have some thickness to grab the paper so it can start the print. So this is what we got printed. Actually, this is a second printed when the head is printing a bit, so probably each next print would be better and better, but still this is okay for now. But soon this printer will actually need the head replacement with the new one, but this is still pretty good. So it's a usable head, but in due time it will need to be replaced with a new one. And this is all for this repair. We will start assembling all the things back together, and this would be all for this one.